I dictated you a few things. Okay, so let's start with a quick summary. How about you, Zed?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. So
Mhm.
okay. So natural selection. Should I start from there?
Yeah.
Okay. So about natural selection, organisms who are better fit in their environments will also leave more progenies. Therefore will survive more longer as a species.
Mm-hmm.
This is known as natural selection, survival of fittest, and it is as a mechanism of evolution.
Okay.
There was a person, Alfred Wallace, naturalist, working independently, also caused to similar conclusions around the same time. So
What does this mean? What does this mean if there are two people coming to similar conclusions around the same time? What does it mean?
Logistic.
Logistic?
Uh,
It is more logical, right?
Logic.
Logistics is something else.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Then?
yeah, Alfred Wallace worked in Malaya archipelago, obtained similar conclusions as Charles Darwin. All existing life forms share similarities and common ancestors as well, but their ancestors were present at different periods in history of Earth. Like examples, epochs, periods, and eras, different eras. Okay.
Yeah, so epochs, periods, and eras are the names given to time frames.
Yes.
So like we say months, years, weeks. Evolution work on a scale of very long time scales. So evolution does not happen in weeks or months. So it takes periods. We use terms like over the period of time, over this one epoch, over the era of reptiles, era of dinosaurs, things like that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
So
Then
now evidences of evolution. Okay. Uh, when talking about evidences of evolution, we first come on fossil records. Fossils are remains of hard parts of life from trapped in rocks. Uh, the study of fossils is different sedimentary layers. In different sedimentary layers indicates about the geological period in which organisms lived and died. Okay.
yeah.
Then
So
there is
how does so how do fossil records are evidence of evolution?
We came to know like these fossils are formed in the sedimentary like as in the sedimentary rocks. After many decades, we found these fossils under the layers of soil.
But how does it tell that evolution has happened?
You know,
When you look at a dinosaur's fossil, how can you say that there is evolution that has happened?
like there are different varieties of fossils. So
What is evolution?
a change we can.
Fatima, the same question. By looking at fossils, how are fossil records evidences of evolution? If this question comes, how will you answer it, Fatima? Are you there, Fatima?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is evolution basically?
Like the change in the characters, like.
Of what?
Of biological, of like biological things.
What are those biological things?
Um, I don't know.
They are organisms, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then, so changes in organisms, right?
Yes.
So how by looking at a fossil you can say that organism has changed? Organism is dead. What were dinosaurs? They were reptiles. Yes.
Yes.
How big were they?
They're huge.
Very big. Yes. How big are the reptiles of today? Which is the
Not
biggest?
that big.
Which is the biggest reptile?
Alligator. I think.
Yes. And is it bigger than a T-Rex?
No.
No.
So we come to know that over the time there are changes that has happened in reptile species. The reptile species of previous times, Cretaceous period, Jurassic period, they were different than the reptile species of today, but they are still reptiles, right?
Yes.
They had certain features that are still there, that there are certain features that have changed. This is how we get to know that evolution has happened. Okay.
Yes.
We do not only find the fossils of dinosaurs, which are reptiles, but we also find the fossils of mammals, right? And birds. And we also see that what changes have occurred in birds over time. So this is how a fossil is basically a picture, a snapshot taken back in time, right? Because it's preserved. So we can look at the anatomy of those organisms in the past, and we can look at the anatomy of organisms present today, and we can make a comparative analysis and get to know what has happened. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is how fossil records are evidence of evolution. Now, I told you to go back and read about embryological records and the record and how embryology support evolution. And I asked you to go back and look at the embryos. Did you do that, everyone?
Yes.
So what did you find?
So some embryos of humans match with some animals like a rabbit at the first stage. After that, they are dissimilar to each other. But at first stage, they are most similar to each other, not completely, but most.
Exactly. Perfect. So first I want you all to read this paragraph. Okay. And you have to read this and understand and tell me, then we'll start. So read this paragraph. All of you, I'm giving you 3 minutes. Quick. I'm giving you 3 minutes to read and understand what it means. So Fatima, would you read it for us, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Embryological support for evolution was
Are you well?
No.
You have cold?
Yes. Because I just came back from a trip actually. So I'm
I could feel that in your voice because
yes.
your voice is very, it's like you have cold. Are you comfortable reading? No?
Yes.
Are you comfortable?
Yes, I don't mind.
Okay, go on.
Support for evolution was also proposed by Ernst Haeckel based upon the observation of certain features during embryonic stage common to all vertebrates that are absent in adult. For example, the embryos of all vertebrates, including human, develop a row of vestigial
Vestigial.
gill
Vestigial means rudimentary or not useful, not functional. So write down vestigious means rudimentary or non-functional.
gill slit just behind the head, but it is a functional organ only in fish and not found in any other adult vertebrates. However, this proposal was disapproved on careful study performed by Carl Ernst von Baer. He noted that embryos never pass through the adult stages of other animals. comparative anatomy and morphology shows similarities and differences among organisms of today and those that existed years ago.
Okay, so what do you understand, Zed? Thank you, Fatima.
So previously there were organisms that were having some functional features of their body parts, we can say, that are not being used as by today's organisms, like who are as compared to them, their family members, like they come from their families.
But it does not talk about previous organisms. It is talking about embryos of organisms present right now.
Yes.
Right? Fatima, what do you understand?
I
So it says,
understood that
yeah.
Like in the first part, he said that all embryos have a gill slit, but then it's only functional in fish and not
Yes.
found in any. But it was like disapproved because not every embryo passes through the stages like in animals. So,
Right.
but like the but like there's some similarities even among like different organisms, so we can see that, like we
Okay.
can notice those differences and like similarities between.
Yes. So embryological support for evolution. It says that because, so I have this figure for you. Look at this figure. Can you all see this figure, everyone?
Yes sir.
So look at the organisms. The first one is a fish embryo. This is stage 1 of the fish, and stage 2, and the stage 3. So this is organism first, 3 stages. Then look at the second. So fish is a Pisces, right? And salamander is what?
Amphibian.
Amphibian. Then tortoise, reptile. Then chicken,
Bird.
bird. Pig,
Mammal.
mammal. Cow,
Also a mammal.
also mammal. Rabbit,
Herbivore.
yeah, it's also a mammal, right?
Yes.
And human is also a mammal. The difference is pig, cow, and rabbits are in non-primates. They cannot stand erect. Humans can stand erect, right? We are most. So all different sorts of organisms have been taken here. Now, look at this third stage first. In the third stage, you can actually say that this looks like a fish, right? Very different from a human. Yes or no?
Yes.
The third stage of embryo.
Yeah.
And the chicken also, it's distinguishable. If I just hide the names, and if I just ask you, tell me which embryo is the chicken, then you will probably bet on this fourth one, right? This looks like chicken. Tell me which one looks like a pig.
So from right, fourth.
From right, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, right?
Yes.
Yes, this looks like a pig. So you can actually differentiate which looks like a tortoise.
From left, third one.
Because it has this shell, right?
Yes.
So many features are present, through which we can distinguish between different species. But now, if I don't tell you this, and I'll only ask you to look at the first stage. Now look at the first stage. Can you tell me at the first stage, which will become a human, which will become a mouse, which will become a pig? Can you differentiate that easily?
No.
Because every embryo looks like the same only, right? It has this big head, these eyes. So this part, this is the head part, and you can see this black spot is the eye spot, and every embryo has this. Then you have gill slits, right? and then you have a tail bud. Yes, these four things are present in all. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So this tells us that at the very first stages of embryogenesis, regardless of the fact that which organism's embryo it is, it looks very similar to each other. Only later on, they develop characters that distinguish them as different organisms. So Ernst Haeckel used this logic to say that embryological evidences also support evolution, that all organisms have similar roots. Back in the past, they have common ancestors. That's why their embryos look the same. So their life starts the same, then it differentiates. Okay. And he also argued that human is no special creation. If human were special, then their embryos would not look like any other animal's embryo in the beginning, right? So if you look at a human and a rabbit, very close to each other, right? Or a human and a cow. Look at the human and the cow. Do you see much of difference?
No, sir.
Or a human or a pig? Can you see much of a difference? Every organism has a tail bud. But do humans have tail?
No, sir.
No.
No. Then what happens to the tail bud? They gave you an example of gills, that only fish goes on to make gills. So you can see this is gill, right? This region that I have marked, this is gill, right? But in a human, there is no gill here, right? At the lungs, at the neck region, we don't have any gills, but fish still have gills. Can you see this? So gill slits also are not developed. Along with that, tail is also not developed in humans. So it has a blueprint of tail, but over the course of embryogenesis, something does not allow the human tail to grow and become a fully functional tail, right? It just stays rudimentary as the last vertebral column of our body, which is of our spinal cord, which is known as coccyx. So this tail bud becomes rudimentary and becomes the last vertebral column and known as coccyx. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So also, the proposal was disapproved by Carl Ernst von Baer on the grounds that he said embryos never pass through the adult stages of other animals. Okay, so one embryo, for example, fish, will never pass through a salamander's life, salamander stage, right? It will always be a fish, regardless of the fact that it is similar to a salamander, but it will never become a salamander. It will always stay a fish, right?
Yes.
But still, this suggests that there is something that we are not able to understand about common ancestry. Now, this is not enough at embryological stage, though it is a proof to argue that all organisms are linked to one another somehow. But how are they related? And even in adult organisms, there are many structures that are same. To argue that, we have to do the similar kind of study in adult organisms. Now, in adult forms, what can we study? Two things: anatomy and morphology. Is it clear?
Yes.
So the next evidence, what was this one? First, this was second, and then coming to next evidence is there are structural, anatomical, and morphological structures that are studied. So write down. Comparative anatomical and morphological evidence. So you cannot accept embryological evidence saying that what's the big deal? Okay, the embryo looks same. It can just be a coincidence. It does not mean that the organisms are related to each other. So for that, you have to show some similarities in adult stage. Now, can you think of any similarity in adult stage? So there are two things. Okay, first of all, write down the comparative anatomy. Write down the comparative anatomy and morphology. Comparative anatomy and morphology shows similarity. And differences. So there are both. And differences among present living organisms and also organisms that existed in the past. Okay, now if this happens, then you can say, oh yes, now organisms are linked together, right? Because their anatomies look similar, or sometimes their function looks similar. So that this can be a proof of a more robust proof of evolution. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, based on this thing, there are two things that can happen. One is called, under this only, homologous organs. So homologous organs. What does the word homo means? Homology.
Same.
Yes. So homologous organs means what? Any idea of homologous organs?
Organs that have same structural design, but origin, like they have different functions.
Same structural design. What do you mean by same structural design?
Like a hand.
Okay. Just give me one moment. Like you're talking about this kind of thing. You can you see the diagram that I have put here?
Yes.
Let's come to animals first. This is a diagram from your NCERT only. Now look at the forelimb. This is forelimb structure of a man. What do you see? What is this bone called?
Femur.
This is called
The
femur.
no, it's the hand. I thought it
Yeah,
was
it's the hand. In the leg, it will be called femur, but in the hand, it will be called humerus. Femurus and humerus. Okay. Then here you can see the design has changed. There are two bones. This one is called ulna and radius. Right?
Yes.
Then there are
Hand bones.
these are called carpals. That makes our wrist, this part, where the hand joins with the wrist, arm. And then beneath that is your metacarpals. This is the anatomy of a hand. And then towards the end, these fingers are called phalanges. Okay. So do you see the design? Humerus, single, divides into ulna and radius, divides into many small bones, which together forms the base of the palm, called carpal and metacarpals, and phalanges, which makes our fingers, right? Now come to cheetah's forelimb. Do you see the similar design? Humerus divides into two, right? From here it's ulna and radius, yes?
Yes.
Then carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges, yes or no?
Yes.
So man is a primate. Cheetah is a non-primate mammal. Whale is an aquatic mammal, right?
Yes.
But still a mammal, non-primate. Now look at the whales. Can you see this single bone equivalent to humerus? Then there are two. This is ulna and this is radius. Can you see this?
Yes.
1 and 2. Then there are carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. Is the overall grand design similar? Can you see the similarity? Fatima? The shape is different. In case of whales, the phalanges are longer and humerus and ulna and radius are short and shortened and discoid, condensed. But do you see the design is same?
Yes.
Now look at a bat. What is bat? Another mammal. All are mammal, primate, non-primate, aquatic, and this is aerial, right? Or arboreal. Lives on trees and flies. Now look here. Can you see this is the humerus, divides into two, ulna and radius. Carpals and metacarpals are here, and then there's phalanges, right?
Yes.
But what is the function? Human hand is used as the hand to lift, to write, to do precision work, to hold, right? What does cheetah uses its forelimb for?
To run, to stand,
To run, locomotion. Yes. What does whale uses the forehand for?
to swim.
Yeah, it uses it as flipper, right?
Yeah. Flippers.
And bat uses it as a wing to fly, right? Flying, swimming, running, holding, and picking up things. All functions are done through similar anatomy. So can you see here similarity in anatomy?
Yes.
Yes, if all the organisms were created as it is very differently, then this similarity would not crop up. So similarity in anatomy and diversity in function. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is example of homologous organs in animals. Okay. There's also an example of homologous organs in plants. So do you see this tendril and thorns? In a bougainvillea, there are thorns, but in a cucurbita, there are tendrils. Now tendrils helps in climbing, right?
Yes.
So that's why cucurbita is a climber or a creeper, right? Which goes up. Whereas bougainvillea, they also have very flexible. So both of them have flexible stem, right?
Yes.
And it's greenish. But thorns, the function here is tendril is for climbing. What is the function of thorn?
To hold.
Protection. Thorns don't hold. Have you seen a plant holding something with the thorn?
No.
Yes. Protection from other animals. Especially, you will not see cows or buffaloes or goats eating bougainvillea tree. They might eat a little bit of their leaves and flowers, but the tree survives, right? But you will see cattle eating the whole cucurbita plant if they can find it. So for different purposes, for different functions, the same organ can develop into a tendril or a thorn. Okay.
Yes.
So you can write down tendrils and thorns are anatomically same. Not same, but similar. But functionally different. right? So this is plant example and this is animal example. Please note this thing down. Then I will dictate. Done.
Yes.
Others? Everyone? Okay, Hiba is done. Fatima?
Done,
Yeah.
sir.
Rifat? Shall I move forward? Okay, now write down. Define homologous. Okay, Rifat is also done. Write down. Define homologous organs. Write down. The organs having similar anatomical structure but evolved to perform different functions. Examples: pattern of bones of forelimbs, pattern of bones of forelimbs in different mammals. So you can write humans, whale, cheetah, or a tiger, bats, etc. Okay.
Yes.
So if you study homologous organs, it is a more robust evidence when you study between different organisms, and you can say that yes, this kind of evolution, it has a common origin, right? Somewhere down the line, humans, it does not say that humans became tigers or cheetah became human, or bats came from whales. It says that all the mammals, whether it is bat, whale, human, cheetah, they look very different. They live in very different environments. And that is where, without going into the anatomical studies, just by looking at them, just by observing them, no one will be able to say that they are related, right? If you would have asked someone 400 years ago, do you think whales and bats are related? What would the person would have said? What he or she would have said? Zed.
So it's not logical. So at that time, it was not logical, and they would
Yeah,
have
just
said that it is not possible.
they would have said that, what are you talking about? It's rubbish. A whale can never be related to a bat, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Bat is a bat, whale is a whale. But now with this kind of studies, with finding the similarities anatomically through bones and organs, we can actually figure out that whale is not that different from bats. Their forelimbs actually have similarities, right? If in fact, if you see in whales also, the finger, the phalanges are elongated, right? Very, very elongated. Same happens in bats, right? To spread. Whether you are spreading to make a flipper or you are spreading to make a wing, both in both, what is the logic that you have to achieve? What is the goal you have to achieve in a flipper and in a wing? What is the commonality in a flipper and a wing, Fatima? Due to which the phalanges are very, very long. Bigger surface area, right? A broader flipper will help moving a lot of water and you are able to swim. Yes or no? And more spread wings will create more force, air drag, so that bat can fly. Yes or no?
Yes.
What is flying? It is swimming in air, right? And what is swimming? It is flying in water. Yes or no? Basically, you are putting force on the air or on the water to move forward. Yes or no? And balance yourself there. Do you understand, people?
Yes.
Fatima, does it make sense to you? Does it make sense, Fatima?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so write down next point. Homology. Homology indicates common ancestry. So homology says that there must be a common ancestry from which all these mammals have evolved. All are like branches of a tree. No branch came from the other branch, but every branch, so if this is a tree, there are 4 branches. So this branch never came from this branch, right? And in the future also, this branch will never become this branch. Yes or no? They are never going to merge together. You understand? In a tree.
Yes.
So let's say this branch is monkey and this branch is human. So the fact that is said in like everyone hears this word of mouth in evolution that humans evolved from chimpanzees, monkeys, apes, etc., etc. Yes, that's a wrong statement. Humans never evolved from monkeys. Human never evolved from chimpanzees. Humans never evolved from apes or gorillas. What happened? All these human, monkeys, gorillas, apes, chimpanzees, they all came from a common ancestor in back in time. But when once you become a human, you are a human. You means every human was born a human. It was not like it was born a monkey and then in its lifetime it became human. Is it clear? Yeah. So monkey, human, it's called branching descent. What it is called? Branching descent. So this is how you explain evolution. It's not explained like the way it was, the way people think that one thing came from the other discrete in a discrete manner. So homology indicates common ancestry. Okay. And write down and leads to and leads to, sorry, and not leads to, and provides evidence of, provides evidence of divergent evolution. What does the word divergent means? Convergence, divergence. What does it mean?
So
Diverge.
needs the organisms they develop different structures but have same functionalities.
Divergent does not mean organism or anything you said. Divergent is an English word.
Divergent means a little different from.
Divergent means
Does it mean
emerging. Yes, please tell me, Fatima.
like the process
Of
of the evolution? Or like
no. Divergent means from a common point you are radiating, you are going to different directions. That's simply divergence. Okay. Yes, Rifat. Perfect. Rifat is right. Going in different directions is called divergence. So four of you are traveling on a road. Then after some time, there are two roads. So two went on one road, two went on another. So you diverged in two groups. Then again, moving forward, there came two more roads, total four. So each one of you went on a different road. That's called again another divergence. You understand? Convergence is opposite, from different directions coming towards the same point. Is it clear? Convergent light rays, divergent light rays. Have you not studied this in physics?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So homologous organs leads to divergent. Oh, sorry. Homologous organs is a evidence for divergent evolution. Okay. So the
Yes.
examples are patterns of bones. Examples are thorns and tendrils in the plants. Also, examples are a structure of hearts and brains in vertebrates. Write down. Another examples of homologous organs are anatomical structures of hearts and brains of vertebrates. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, second thing is, this was homologous organs. Second thing is analogous organs. Any idea what are analogous organs then? What do you think are analogous organs? You studied?
They have
Yes,
different
yes.
skeletal structures but have same function. Can you explain?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. But instead of saying skeletal structures, you say different anatomical structures, because all do not have a skeleton,
yes.
right? So write down analogous organs. Sorry, let me check this one. Okay. Analogous organs are the organs having analogous organs are the organs having different anatomical structures but have evolved to attain or to perform similar function. Okay, clear? Now, asking about the homologous organs. Under what conditions do you think homologous organs evolve? Logically, if they are evolving from a common ancestor, under what condition do you think homologous organs can evolve? If all the mammals were living on land and walking on two appendages, so all the mammals will look like human, right?
Yes.
So what leads to different homologous organs? What is difference between man, cheetah, whale, and bat? What is different?
So the habitat they are living in.
Exactly. Perfect. So the only difference that creates this is their habitat. So whale cannot have hands. Hands are not useful to whale, right? And flippers are not useful to a cheetah. Yes or no?
Yes.
Wings are not useful to a human and hands are not useful to a bat because of the environment they live in. We are terrestrial organisms. Bats are tree dwellers or flyers. Cheetah are runners and predators, and whales are swimmers. So their habitat is different. So when one organism, the species, the populations of one species go into different environments and starts living there for like generation after generation, the changes that occur, so they have the same anatomical structure because their ancestors were same, but over time, the farther you go in time, after millions of years, they will become very different from each other because they will have different climatic conditions or environment in which they have to adapt. Yes or no?
Yes.
Other primates have thick hair on their body, but we don't, right? Because we have adapted to clothes. Yes or no?
Yes.
When cavemen did not used to wear clothes like shirts, then they what was the only way to protect their body from heat or cold or anything?
So
Wear
the
and tear.
hairs, the
Thick
hairs.
hair, right? That's why we see that chimpanzees still have a thick hair on their body, but humans, over the time course of millions of years, we do not have thick hairs. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, very well. And analogous organs are, they're different structures, but they evolve to attain a similar function, completely opposite to homologous organs. Now tell me, under what conditions do you think analogous organs can evolve? They are organs present in different organisms. So it does not provide a proof or a evidence for common ancestry. So the ancestors were not common. Okay. Yes, Zaid. Homology is similarity. Okay. Analogy is difference. Like, sorry, analogy is similarity, but comparing between two different things. For example, I always give you analogy, right? Like from normal day-to-day life, that what will happen when you need to do this. And then we put that analogy in biology, in cellular context, that a cell will also behave the same, right?
Yes.
Similar kind. So that's analogy, okay, which come from totally different sources, but have some functional similarity. And homology is which come from the same sources anatomically, but have functional dissimilarities. Okay.
Yes.
So now can you tell me under what condition do you think analogous organs can evolve?
So under climatic conditions, different climatic conditions, then
If it is different climatic conditions, then homologous organs will evolve. Like whale had a different climatic condition, human have a different climatic condition. How will different climatic condition make analogous organs? Doesn't make sense, right?
yes.
So Fatima, what do you think? When do you think analogous organ evolve? Let's
like,
go to
what do you mean, like when, like as in
under what condition. Let's first go
under,
to some examples. Then
would
probably
like the example be like ears, like
ears.
yeah, because like some animals, like they also hear, we also hear.
Mhm. So how is ear an example of analogous organs?
They have different structures, but we have a similar function, right?
I think ears are same. Either you have ears or you don't have ears. Or you are saying that the ear of a human lives very different from a ear of a elephant, right? You're correct. I'm just asking you to defend your answer. You're giving me a correct answer. Ear. A better example is like, well, how about wings of bird versus butterfly versus a bat? All the three fly, right?
Yes.
All these three organisms, Fatima, they fly. Yes. And to fly, they need wings. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Bird also flies with its wing. Butterfly also flies with its wing. Bat also flies. But what is the difference? The bird's wing is made up of feathers, right? Butterfly wing is, it does not have any feather, right? What is it made up of? Probably chitin, let's say, because the exoskeleton is also made up of it, right? We know that it is non-feather, no feather, right? And what is a bat wing made up of? Skin. It is a skin flap. Yes or no? Again,
Yes, sir.
no feathers. So do you think that, do you see that they're all different kind of structures? Organs having different anatomical structures, but they all have evolved to attain a similar function. What is the function? To fly. Yes or no? Yes. Let me make it like this. So, but all three have evolved to achieve common function, which is flight. Yes or no? Yes. So now, can you answer me, under what condition do you think analogous organs evolve? So homologous organs were evolving under the condition where organisms that had similar ancestors now go and start living in diverse environments. So under what condition analogous organs will evolve? Exactly the opposite, right? Where organisms that do not have common ancestors come to live in the same environment. Yes or no? Bird, butterflies, and bats all are aerial, they fly. So they have to attain similar kind of functions, but their structures are different because birds have hollow bones, they are not mammals. Bats are mammals, they have bones like a mammal. Butterfly do not have bones at all, they are insects. So they, all these three do not have common ancestors, immediate common ancestors, right? But they all live in similar environment, which is air. So they have to fly. So different structures come to perform the same function. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So write down. Analogous organs are a result of analogous organs are a result of or evidence for what is called convergent evolution. Can you tell me what does convergent means? Analogous organs. Convergent means different organisms come to the same environment and evolve in a similar manner. Convergence means from different points coming towards the same point. Yes. What are other examples? Everyone understood, yes or no?
Yes.
Shall I move forward? Please note this down and let me know. Okay, that is done. Others? Fatima, Hiba, and Rifat?
Done, sir.
Done. Okay. Now write down some more examples of analogous organs. Second example is eyes. Eyes of different organisms or ears of different organisms, as Fatima said. There are different structures that all are not called ears, but there are different structures that animals use to hear the sound or to perceive the sound. Some perceive the sound as sound, but basically what are we perceiving when we are perceiving sound? We are perceiving the vibration in the air, right? Sound is what? Sound is just vibration in the air, yes or no? So eyes of octopus, human, and insects all have eyes, all can see light, perceive light, but they're all different structures. Their common function is to perceive light, or you can say ears of human, and let's say reptiles, and what? Human, reptiles, and other mammals. Also, can you think of any other example?
Nose.
Nose is nose. How is nose different?
So flippers of a dolphin and penguins.
Yes, that's a good example. So flippers of dolphin. Why they are different? They look very same to me, but how are they different? Dolphin and penguins. How are they different? What is a dolphin?
It's a bird. A flightless bird.
Dolphin is not a bird.
No, penguins. I'm talking about.
Yes. Penguins are birds. Dolphins are?
Aquatic mammals.
Yes, mammals. So if one is mammal and if one is bird, they both live in almost the same environment, right? Aquatic. They both are aquatic, and their flippers also look very, very same. But we know one is a bird and the other is a mammal. So of course, they will have anatomical differences. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is also an example of analogous organs which are different structurally, but they achieve common function. Okay. So these are all animal examples. Can we get some plant examples as well? It will be better. Any plant example for analogous organs? One plant example at least we should have for both.
So sweet potato and normal potato.
What is normal potato?
Ah.
It is potato. There is no abnormal potato. Yes. So potato and sweet potato. How are they analogous organs? Zed? Can you
So
explain?
sweet potato have like root modification, and the potato is having stem modification, so they grow stem.
Potato is not having stem modification.
They are,
Potato is a stem.
they are,
And sweet potato is a
they are a root.
root. Then, but how are they analogous organs? What is this? How do they achieve the similar function? What is the similar function?
Some similarities are they are from same family,
But
I
what
know
is the similarity between these two? What do they do? What does
they
a potato and sweet potato do?
they grow under the store.
They both store food. They are food storing organs, right?
Yes.
That's why you can eat a boiled potato the same way you can eat a sweet potato, but it will just be sweeter than a boiled potato. But both carry starch and sugar, right? For the plant, they both are food storing organs. Does it make sense? Fatima and Zaid? This is the common function. Okay?
Yes.
Very well. Let me know when you have noted this.
Sir, how is the nose not an analogous organ?
I'm asking how do you think is nose analogous organs?
Because like some organisms have like a different structure for the nose, right?
But as far as nose, you can say so. You do know that nose, the structure is mostly that you have a nostril, and inside you smell. You have olfactory receptors that smell anything present in the air, right? So instead of saying nose, you can say, I was just think so nose of a human and the Jacobson organ of snakes. Okay, these are analogous organs. Nose of humans and Jacobson organs of snake. They are different things. Nose are nose. Like someone, you are saying that horse has a different structured nose, but it's bones, right? By structure, I do not mean the shape. By structure, I mean anatomically, they are different things, made up of different things. So stem, potato is a stem. Sweet potato is a root. They are different tissues. Similarly, dolphin is a mammal, penguins are birds. Their bone structures are different. Ears of human and reptiles. Reptiles have a tympanum. They don't have an external ear. They just have a tympanum through which they can sense vibration. But humans have eardrum, bones, then a cochlea, all these things. Octopus eyes versus insect's eyes. These are all different structures anatomically. But nose of nose of a monkey versus nose of a human versus nose of a horse, nose of a cow, they're all nose, right? Made up of bones and same cartilage. They're just looking different because the face is different. You understand?
Yes.
But nose of a human and Jacobson organ of a snake. Have you seen snakes doing this? They take their tongue out, fork tongue, and they do this, right? Have you seen them flippering their tongue? They take their tongue out of the mouth and they flipper and then bring it down, bring it in. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So snake takes the tongue out and the tongue is forked like this, and then swivels it, right, up and down like this, and then brings it back. You know, what does it do? What is a snake doing by taking its tongue out and by like vibrating it? Have you ever thought of it?
So I thought it is an instinct, so it will do it.
Instinct? No, it's not an instinct. The snake is smelling. So what does a snake do? Let's say this is the, how does a snake looks? And how can I not make a snake? Let's say a snake looks like this, right? This is the eye of a snake. This is the head, right? And then the body. Yes, snake looks like this, something. Have you seen nostrils of a snake? Have you seen any holes in the snake mouth part? Where does the snake smokes from? Smells from? So it takes the tongue out like this and swills it. So all the molecules, smell molecules which are present, olfactory molecules in the atmosphere, it is just gathering it on the nose, sorry, on the tip of the tongue here. Then it will take it inside and in the top of the head. So snakes have eyes like this, right? And on the top of the head here, they have two holes inside. So they take the tongue in and they put it in those holes. You understand? So it takes out like this, swirls it, catches some smell molecules. Whatever the smell is coming from, it will be chemical, right? Some chemical is the smell, right? We sense chemicals. So it will gather all the molecules, bring the tongue inside and put it in the top hole. And this is known as Jacobson's organ. So whatever molecules will be stuck to the tip of the tongue, forked tongue, these Jacobson organs will sense the smell of it. You understand? So this is a completely different structure and this is a completely different structure.
Yes.
But what is the common function?
To smell.
Yes. So you understood, Fatima?
Yes, sir.
So better example will be this, to smell. Okay. Very good. Write this down. So these are, so everyone understood homologous and analogous organs, divergent and convergent evolution.
Yes.
Okay. Now going forward to something that I'm going to start the next, natural selection. Or let's, before talking about natural selection, let's talk about artificial selection. Artificial selection versus natural selection. These again are proofs of evolution. Evolution happens through natural selection, where nature selects those which are more fitter, more and adapt better in the environment. Now, but what is artificial selection? Artificial means not natural. So if nature is not selecting, which is the other powerful force which can cause change in environment? Which is the other powerful force that challenges nature at every step?
So science? No.
Humans. Yes. So we select things. Have you not seen? Have you seen different varieties of rice, wheat?
Yes.
Different varieties of apples, fruits, flowers. Have you seen it? Tulips and lilies are of like different kinds. Where does they all come from? Do they all come from nature? Have you ever went to a jungle and seen a red rose, a white rose, yellow rose growing in a jungle? Yes? Do you think they are present in a jungle?
No.
Those.
No. Then what's happening in a jungle? These are all breeds that humans have artificially selected and propagated. Okay. So artificial selection is where humans breed some selected breeds and make different breeds by crossbreeding and inbreeding. So write down, humans have successfully bred humans have successfully bred selected plants and animals. Selected plants and animals for the purpose of agriculture, right? Horticulture. Horticulture is where flowers are cultured. Horticulture and security. For example, dogs, different species of dogs, right? And sometimes just for sport, like different breeds of cats, right? Or horses. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
And how is this done basically? So write down, due to intensive breeding, due to intensive breeding, breeds that are different from each other have been created. You see that more often with dogs and cats. You will never go to a jungle and find these dogs. Will you find a Labrador, a Chihuahua, or a Pekingese? Will you find, or a bulldog? Will you find these in jungles? No. So breeds that are different from each other have been created. Okay. Now, what does this prove? If you select an organism and ensures that it can propagate, then over time that organism will be different from other members and a new breed will be produced, right? You are very carefully cherry picking only some characters and ignoring the others. You understood? You understood, everyone? Yes or no? And if humans, let's say you want a dog who's small, never grows to a big size, so you will take a dwarf character of a dog. You will mate a dwarf dog carrying a dwarf gene with another dwarf dog from some other species, right? Or some other, having some other characters. When you will intensively keep breeding these characters, over time you will get smaller dogs with the characters that you want. Yes or no?
Yes.
So if humans can artificially do this to make different breeds, can't nature use the same selection criteria, now there the pressure will be to survive, not will be for our desires or our entertainment. So there the pressure is to survive. So due to survival pressures, can't nature select organisms and make different species in millions of years? If human can do that in decades, nature can do it in millions of years. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Write down. If man, or if humans can create different breeds or new breeds, nature can create new species over millions of years as well. If humans can create new breeds through artificial selection, sorry, just add this point, through artificial selection, then nature can create different species through natural selection over millions of years. Over millions of years. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
So now coming to natural selection, what do you think is a natural selection? I've already told you, just you have to give me the answer. How will you define natural selection? So write down organisms that are well adapted for their environment and can survive better to produce large number of offsprings. Are selected or propagated by nature. Propagated in nature. Okay. So their species flourish. You understand? Yes or no?
Yes.
This is known as natural selection. Okay, so basically what happens is survival of fittest through natural selection. Okay.
Yes.
Write down. Over the course of millions of years, over the course of millions of years, natural selection leads to, over the course of millions of years, natural selection leads to creation of new breeds and species. Creation of new breeds and species. Make sense to all of you?
Yes.
Okay, very well. So we are on the same page. That's great. So today I'll stop here at artificial and natural selection. In the next class, I am giving you some homework. You have to go back and read, because there's some time before we meet in the next class on Monday. You have to read about this term, industrial melanization of moths. Second thing you have to read about is adaptive radiation in evolution, in nature or in evolution. And one example for this is Darwin's finches. Darwin's finches. This you have to read from your NCERT and also from other sources, whatever sources, but you have to read this and make notes, okay? Be a little prepared for the next class discussion, because it's going to be a little in depth of the concepts of evolution, okay?
Sure, sir.
Okay, so I'll see you in the next class, everyone. Any doubts? You have any doubts?
Yes.
No? Okay. I'll see you in the next class. Take care and
Sir,
stay
can
blessed.
you
Yes,
swipe
Fatima.
up? Like, I'm gonna
Yes.
take a screenshot. I didn't complete.
Is this part?
Yes.
Yeah. Please take a screenshot.
Okay, done, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye. Take care. See you in the next class, people.